What's up guys, Justin here with the RenderingEssentials.com. In today's video we're going to talk about how to add volumetric lights to your renderings in Lumion. Let's go ahead and just jump into it. Alright, so what we've got right now is we've got one of the example scenes in Lumion. And what I want to do is I want to add some volumetric lighting. Basically, volumetric lighting is lighting that has like some kind of like particles in it that where you can almost see the light rays. So it might look kind of foggy, or it might look like the light is interacting with dust in the air. It adds volume to your scene. What we want to do is we want to start by adding a couple lights. So I'm just going to go into place mode and I'm going to add an omni light right here. So make sure you don't do the light fill, make sure you do an omni light object. And I'm just going to place that right here. We may move it in a second. I'm also going to add a spotlight right here that kind of shines down on these plants. And then we're just going to edit those so they're a little bit down below. I'm not too worried about it, but just a little bit. I'm also going to turn this light cone down just a bit. And I'm going to move this down a bit, like this. And so notice how we have our two lights in here, and currently they are not actually doing anything with volumetrics. That's because we are in build mode. We need to jump over into photo mode because volumetrics is something we add in photo mode as an effect. So we're going to jump into photo mode right here, and this will pull up that same viewport. But what you need to do is you need to come into your effects stack right here and click on the option to add an effect. So it should either show up in your featured section right here, or you can go down to lighting, select the option for volumetric lights. So notice how when I do that, nothing's changed in my scene yet. The reason that hasn't changed is because we need to actually select the lights that we want to be volumetric. In this situation, for example, we need to click on this option right here, and we need to toggle volumetrics on for this light and for this light. And so notice how those immediately add a lot of depth to your scene, right? However, they're really kind of showing up a little bit more than we want, so let's go in here and adjust them a little bit. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the fall off up like this. Notice how when we turn the fall off up, that means that the light is going to not go quite as far. So the volumetric effect is not going to be quite so far from the light. We can also adjust the density with this slider and the intensity of the effect. So notice how I can use these to create more of a subtle effect right here, like this. Notice if I was to crank that intensity up, you'd get kind of like this cone of light over here. You wouldn't get too much over here because our fall off is a little bit higher, but if we were to turn that up, we can use that to get kind of a foggy effect across our scene like this. So turning on the volumetrics is really easy to do just by toggling this. I do not believe there is a way to do volumetric settings for each individual light, so just be aware of that. You might have to basically create different scenes with different settings if you do want those different looks. One thing I do want to note though that's kind of fun is if you do jump over into edit mode again, or build mode, and we were to add a color to this. So for example, let's say we were to toggle this to like a blue color like this. Notice how the blue in our scene is showing up on our lights, but it's really going to be pronounced when we go back into photo mode, right? So the color of the light is going to affect the color of the volumetrics inside of your scene. So you can use this to create like different light effects. So if you did like any kind of like event planning or anything like that, I could see this being really interesting. So I'll link to some other videos on this page about some other Lumion 12 features as well, but leave a comment below. Let me know if you have any questions. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks guys.